So, what if you could completely reframe how you see life's biggest, scariest challenges? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful story, an allegory that does exactly that. It lays out a stark choice between two totally different ways of living. Let's get into it.
All right, our story kicks off with a single person, a soldier. He's been thrown onto what the story calls the field of battle and examination. And believe me, this isn't just any battlefield. It's a truly impossible situation, with threats just closing in on him from all sides.
The very first threat is breathing down his neck. Right behind him, there's this huge, hungry lion just waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. This is that kind of immediate, unavoidable danger you feel is always lurking. Okay, so what if he runs forward to escape the lion? Well, what he faces then is somehow even worse, a gallows. And this isn't just any gallows. It's the one that has already taken every single person he loves. And now it's just waiting for him. And as if all that wasn't enough, he's in pretty bad shape himself. He's carrying two deep, awful wounds. He is completely and utterly alone. And on top of it all, he's facing this long, brutal journey into exile. You can just feel the despair setting in. Right at this moment, just as he's about to give up all hope, a mysterious person shows up. He's described as being incredibly kind, almost shining with light. And he comes with a promise to completely change the soldier's entire reality. The guide's offer sounds, well, impossible. He says, don't despair. He promises that the terrifying lion will become a calm, obedient horse. The horrible gallows, that will turn into a joyful swing. The soldier's painful wounds will blossom into fragrant flowers. And that impossibly long journey, he says it can be done in a single day. But hold on. Just as the soldier is trying to wrap his head around this incredible offer, a second figure walks onto the scene. And this guy is totally different. He's described as cunning, sly, and he represents a very, very different path. Now, this newcomer doesn't offer to fix any of the soldier's problems. Nope. Instead, he offers a way to forget them. He shows up with fancy food and drinks, beautiful pictures, and lively music. His whole solution is just pure distraction, a way to use your senses to ignore the real danger. So here is the heart of the conflict. The soldier is staring at two completely opposite ways of seeing the world. The guide offers a way to look reality right in the eye and actually transform it. The tempter, on the other hand, offers a way to just ignore reality and escape through a little bit of temporary fun. And just listen to the way the tempter talks. He calls the guide's solution incomprehensible nonsense. He tells the soldier to just forget about it, saying, "You are healthy, there is nothing wrong with you." His entire game plan is denial. It's all about focusing only on the present fun. But just as the soldier starts to get drawn in, a voice like thunder just booms through the air. It warns him not to be fooled and gives him the perfect thing to say. It tells him to challenge the tempter. Hey, can you actually fix my problems? Can you kill the lion, get rid of the gallows, and heal my wounds? If you can do all that, sure, let's party. Otherwise, just be quiet. Okay, so that's the story. But remember, this is an allegory, which means everything in it is a symbol for something way deeper. So now we get to the real heart of it. We're going to decode what this whole battlefield and all its dangers actually mean for us. And the story makes the connection crystal clear. That soldier facing all those insane challenges, that's supposed to be you. It represents every single one of us. And that battlefield, well, that's the world. That's the journey of life itself. So let's break down these symbols. First up, the lion. It's not just some random beast. It represents what the text calls the appointed hour. It's our own mortality. The one thing we know for sure is always there, following us through life. And what about those gallows looming in the distance? That symbolizes the tough but inevitable reality of decline, of separation, and of loss. It's that painful truth that in this world, nothing lasts forever. We lose things, we get older, and eventually we have to say goodbye to the people we love. The soldier's two wounds are symbolic too. One represents our own powerlessness, that feeling that we're helpless against the big forces of life. And the second wound, that's our boundless poverty, our endless needs, our constant desires, that feeling that we just never, ever have enough. So we've laid out all the problems from the story: mortality, loss, our own inner weaknesses. But what about the solutions? It's time to decode the mysterious gifts that the guide offered. Okay, those two talismans, turns out, they represent belief in God and in the hereafter. With that perspective, the lion of death isn't a terrifying end anymore. It's transformed into a ride, a steed to carry you from the prison of this world to the gardens of paradise. The gallows of loss becomes a beautiful lookup point, a place to watch the patterns of creation constantly renewing themselves. And the two medicines, they're meant to heal those internal wounds. The first one is patience and trusting in God's wisdom. That heals the wound of feeling powerless by relying on something bigger than yourself. The second is gratitude and contentment, which heals that wound of boundless poverty. Instead of always feeling like you need more, you start to see the world as a feast, and you become a grateful guest. And finally, remember that ticket for the long journey into exile? That symbolizes doing your religious duties, like prayer, and steering clear of major sins. These actions are seen as the food, the light, and the ride you need for that long, dark journey to eternity. A journey where just worldly knowledge can only get you as far as the graveyard door. So when you put all these pieces together, the problems of the battlefield and the solutions from the guide, we get to the story's really profound core message about how we can actually experience our own lives. The whole message really boils down to a simple 3-step process. First, you have to acknowledge the harsh reality. Don't pretend the lion and the gallows aren't there. Second, apply one of the tools from that spiritual toolkit. And third, use that tool to completely reframe your experience, turning something that feels terrifying into something meaningful. And that's what the story leaves us with, this really provocative question. It's basically saying that the tempter's promise of a life without problems is a total lie. We can't just wish away the line of death or the gallows of loss. So the real choice we have isn't about avoiding suffering. It's about how we choose to face it. Are we going to pick distraction and denial, or are we going to look for the tools that can transform our entire perspective on reality itself?